Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. So today we got some news from Nintendo. A couple little tidbits of news having to do with the SNES Classic and also the NES Classic. So we'll start with the SNES Classic. They've already stated that they were going to ship a heck of a lot more than what they did with the NES Classic. So on the retail level, in stores, there's supposed to be a ton more available, and it's supposed to be a lot easier to get. You know, believing is seeing, so we'll have to wait until the 29th to see how true that holds. But I'm pretty confident it's going to be a lot easier to obtain than NES Classic. I was able to get an NES Classic day one, not much of an issue. I did have to wait a little while in line, but I did get one. It wasn't too big of a deal, but I do live in a smaller community, even though the stores over here were still slammed with people trying to get them, but the other areas that are closer to here, it was just crazy. So maybe if you're in a smaller populated area that has like a Best Buy, GameStop, etc., you know, it might have been easier to get. So, you know, it is what it is. But I do feel confident that it should be fairly easier to get in Super Nintendo Classic. But originally they said they were only going to ship them and produce them through this year, to the end of the year. So it was going to be a limited item once again, that no matter how many they shipped, a lot of people probably wouldn't be able to get one that wanted one. Especially, you know, there's not going to be people who either can't afford or they're not able to get out there to get one on day one. So it's kind of a thing like, okay, it's the holidays. It's going to be like Hatchimals and all that stuff, where it's just, you can have moms punching babies to get that off of the shelf, you know what I mean? So I still foresee that happening with the Super Nintendo, but I think day one, you would have a easier time getting one if you're able to. If you go into work later in the day or you have the day off, that kind of thing, I think you'll be able to get one. That's just speculating. But now they have stated that, hey, we're going to be producing and shipping these into 2018. So due to popular demand, we're going to meet that demand. And thank you, Nintendo, for that. You know, you guys have done this with a lot of things in the past. Amiibos, the Switch, the NES Classic, where people can't get them who want them. You know, I've given up on Amiibos, so I don't even bother anymore. But it was just a spectacle to go out there and try to get something, and everybody else is out there getting them either to resell them or they're a legitimate collector. I don't knock you either way, because it's a free market, do what you want. And a lot of stores would limit, you know, Amiibos, the NES Classic, one per person, that kind of thing. You know, so some of the stores are doing their due diligence, but some of them, you know, they don't care. But most of them around me, they would just limit you to one. So that's great news that the SNES Classic is going to be produced into 2018. There's going to be plenty out there. I'm happy to hear it. Nintendo also put out a comment just a couple days ago saying, hey, do not pay more than $80 for a Super Nintendo Classic Edition. Do not. So they're pretty confident. Just like her, do not pay more than $80 for one of these. That's what I'm saying. So Nintendo stated that. Do not pay more than $80. They're going to be available. So let's hold them to that. But then the other thing, the bigger news, I don't even know if it's bigger news, but I knew this was going to happen. I had a feeling. The NES Classic is going back into production, and this is worldwide. So after, I think the Famicom Mini is going to go into production first in Japan, even though I thought they had a ton of them, because I was able to easily get one, and those go for a lot less money than the NES Classic does, probably because of the short little cords for the controllers. I don't know, but every region's going to get those back in stock. They're going to start producing them again, and they're going to announce a firmer date later on, but they've stated that the NES Classic will be going back into production, should be available next year summer. So, you know, maybe a little earlier this time next year. That'll be kind of cool. I had a feeling they were going to do that, but originally I thought that it wasn't going to be just a reissue, a re-release. I thought it was going to be like the NES Classic DX edition or something, or, you know, where they were going to add some new games or something, or maybe ship it with an extra controller. I don't know. I thought they were going to do something a little different, but I didn't think they were going to do it that soon. I thought, okay, next year they're going to release the Nintendo 64 Classic Edition, and I still feel they will, you know, prove me wrong. Only way that anybody's going to prove me wrong is that next year comes and goes and we don't get it, so we'll have to wait and see. But I originally thought that that's what was going to happen. Nintendo 64 Mini was going to come out. And I didn't, you know, I've heard a lot of talk, people saying, oh, they should do a Game Boy Mini, stuff like that. I really don't think they will do that. That's just my opinion. You're not going to change my opinion on that, but I do not think they will do a Game Boy Mini or Classic Edition, anything like that. I mean, not in the form of a handheld anyway. I don't see that happening. Maybe with what I'm kind of talking about, like I said, I thought that 2018 is going to be the Nintendo 64, and then 2019 would be a reissue of the NES Classic, but with different games, or maybe, you know, additional games or something to try to snag the people who already bought one and being like, oh crap, I need the new one. You know, maybe release it looking like the top loader or something and put in a few different games. I don't know. That's what I thought they were going to do, and then I thought they would do the same thing with the SNES, release like a new version of it. The following year after that, maybe do the mini version, which is like the system I'm using now. The Super Nintendo I'm using right now is like the SNES 101, which is, you know, people called it the mini back in the day. I thought they would release a model that looked like that, had a few different games maybe. But I thought maybe if they were to do anything with Game Boy, they could do it that way. Super Game Boy on the Super Nintendo Classic Edition version 2. That's originally what I thought would happen, but I did not foresee them doing just a re-release, ramping up production. But hey, Nintendo actually does want our money, so we'll see how that goes. But it is kind of a given that one way or another these were going to be remade and reissued. The same thing went with the amiibos. Like, you know, you had the Villager amiibo and then the Wii Fit Girl amiibos that were fetching a huge price. I remember at some point they were going for over $100 or so each. And those were $12.99, or, you know, sometimes you can get them for like $10 on sale. You know, sometimes like Toys R Us would do like a 2 for $20 or something like that. Or some places would do a buy two get one free. So I thought that was kind of crazy that those were going for that price. But then guess what happened? They reissued them. The price went down. They're not worth as much. And then cross-region, you could get the Japanese amiibos, and they're the same thing. Just, you know, if you collected packaging, it was a little different. For me, when I was collecting amiibos, I didn't care. I took every amiibo out of the box, other than my Mega Yarn Yoshi and my Breath of the Wild amiibos. I had, you know, I was into collecting them. I think I had almost 100 amiibos. I sold them all just recently. I sold them all. The only ones I kept were the ones I kept in the box, which, like I said, were the Breath of the Wild amiibos and then the Mega Yarn Yoshi. But the rest of them I just sold them because they're just collecting dust. I don't use them for anything. They're kind of cool. There's still other amiibos out there I would like to get, but I've cut back on that. I won't do it. But we've seen this happen. Nintendo issues a hot item. People are willing to pay top dollar for it. You know, right now the Super Nintendo Classic Edition on eBay, people are selling them between $200 to $300, and I'm sure with this news, there's going to be people who are regretting paying that kind of money, and, you know, there's going to be people who are like, nope, I'm not buying that now. I'll wait and see. You know, maybe I'll pay that price if Nintendo doesn't deliver the way they say. But there's always, it doesn't even matter, to be honest, because when there's a hot item, people want to get it guaranteed, and if they couldn't get a pre-order in and they can't go to a store or they don't have the time, they're gonna be, you know, there's gonna be people out there who are willing to pay a premium. Oh crap, that are willing to pay a premium to get what they want. So, you know, the market, the price is gonna go down, but, you know, that secondary market, it's not gonna hold at $300, $200. It's just not. There's just no way. But people are still paying the price. People have already paid that price for a pre-order. And hey, you know, it is what it is. Let's see if Nintendo can deliver. Seems like they want our money. But I knew it was going to happen, so I don't know. Appreciate you guys checking this rant out. Smash that like button if you could. Let me know down below in the comment section. Are you getting a Super Nintendo Classic Edition? Are you looking forward to it? Are you going to try to snag one of the NESs next year when they re-release them? Or are you just going to stick to Retropie broing it up? You know what I'm saying? With that said, peace out, guys. Catch y'all next time. Boom!